My name is Pam Malley, and I'm here with Kathy Giordano from the Education Advisory Board at the Tourette Association of America. We're both parents of children who have Tourette Syndrome, and we're here to talk today about overcoming difficult times as a parent. Kathy, we've had our share of difficult times with our kids. Can you share with us something that was particularly challenging raising a child with Tourette?
Well, Matthew was diagnosed at the age of 2, and unfortunately he had all the ramifications of Tourette, but also neurological rage. So clearly the most difficult time was when Matthew was being rageful. And we didn't know what was going on, he didn't know what was going on, he was always remorseful. But I think a lot of the difficulty came in people judging us, assuming that he was a bad kid and that I was a bad parent. So I think getting through that stage was probably the most difficult time for us.
How'd you handle being judged? What do you do to manage that? Because that's a common theme that I hear from parents when they call in. They feel that the schools feels that they're not disciplining their child enough, or they're not being hard enough on them, and that maybe the parent, I was even told that I needed to go to parenting classes.
I was fortunate because I was brought up during the 60s, and we hippies didn't care what people thought about us, so I kind of went into the parenting with that. But I would encourage parents not to care. Know that you are a good person, you are doing the best job that you can do as a parent, and your child is a good person and a good kid and doing the best that they can do. And to just know that you're going to get through it, that lots of times kids with Tourette will grow up and be successful, so there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and just don't care what other people think. I know it's hard, especially when it's family and neighbors and teachers and doctors. We went to a lot of therapists that definitely thought my husband and I were terrible parents. So it is difficult, but I hung on to, I knew who Matthew was, and I knew he was a good kid, and I think that really got me through a lot.
Yeah, and I think that for me, hearing so frequently when Connor was in school about how all of his problems, I didn't hear very much about what he was good at. And I heard all negative at the end of the day. And then it was hard for me to separate that from who Connor was, because I got so focused on how was I going to fix these problems. And my biggest regret, especially when he was younger, because this was first grade-ish, I really lost a lot of time with him, and I didn't enjoy him and remember that's still my son, because I was so caught up in the newness of the diagnosis and trying to figure things out. So I try to encourage parents too to play with their child and engage in activities that, even though you don't like video games, if your child does, do that with them, because it still bonds them and it breaks that tension. If you don't break the tension, it only continues to build. And I found that in my household. We had to finally break all of that.
Yeah, and accept the apologies, because it's worse for them than it is for us. And so we need to accept their apologies, understand that they really don't want to act like this, and move on. Don't hang on to it, the anger. It's a disability. It's not a bad behavior. Another thing that I recommend is spending quality time with your other children. I spent so much time researching and reading and trying to fix Matthew that I wish I had spent more time with my other children too.
Kathy, why don't you summarize then the key points for what parents should keep in mind when they're going through these difficult times?
Okay, I think number one, try not to get hung up by the judgments of others. Also know that people are going to give you advice, and you don't necessarily have to listen to it. Listen to your parental gut. Spend time with your child in a positive way and support their strengths. All those I think are really important.
That's great information. Thank you for joining us. If you need more information on this topic, please visit Tourette.org.